One of Vanguard's OG waifus finally makes her return to Vanguard, and it's none other than Luquier.
Stand up! Vanguard!
Hey Cardfighters, welcome back to another Cardfight update, and today we've got some exciting news as we got a bunch new Pale Moon cards revealed today, as well as the face reveals of all the new VRs for the upcoming AL4 set, but we also got a new card for Shadow Paladin. But most importantly, we've got the skill reveal of Luquier herself. So that's very exciting news for Pale Moon. So without further ado, let's jump right into these reveals and see what these new cards for Pale Moon can mean for the clan itself, as well as the new card that has been revealed for Shadow Paladin. First off, let's take a look at the new Shadow Paladin card that has been revealed, and that's the new Grade 1 8k unit that is Transient, Revenger, Masquerade. And its skills are act on rearguard circle, once per turn, cast, counter blast 1, and put this unit into your soul. Call a Blaster Dark from your drop zone to the rearguard circle, and that unit gets power plus 5k until the end of turn. And its second ability is, continues a rearguard circle, during the battle that it boosted, this unit gets power plus 3k. So we can see that Revengers is going to get a big return. We already know that the VR is going to have Revenger in its name, but we also now can assume that all the other cards that were originally Revengers will probably also be called Revengers. And this skill is really interesting, as it really suggests that the new way for Shadow Paladin is going to center around Blaster Dark, as we already knew that the new VR Mordred Phantom is going to revolve around Blaster Dark, how Gancelot revolves around Blaster Blade. But it's very curious how their approach are going to be, as we already are very familiar with Blaster Blade. It gets it's a Vanguard unit, it gets the crit, it gets the drive check and all that shenanigans with all the extra support cards. But I don't think they're going to take the same approach with Blaster Dark, as then Shadow Paladin and Royal Paladin will probably be a very carbon copy of each other, and that's not something they really want to do. But the great thing about this card is, yes, it does cost a counterblast, and counterblast is a very heavy resource, but this card goes into the soul, and soul is sometimes also a very scarce resource for Shadow Paladin. So at least it fixes that in some regard. And also it's great that it can become an 11k booster, which means that in all kinds of scenarios you can use this card. You can either use it to have it onto the field as a powerful unit that will increase your attacking power, or you can use its first skill to fetch your Blaster Dark to have some more recursion onto the field, depending on what Mordred Phantom is going to do with your Blaster Dark. So overall, it's a very solid card, and will probably be run in the end build that we're going to see when more Shadow Paladin cards are going to be revealed. But enough about Shadow Paladin, as we're going to get more videos dedicated about them when we get those big reveals. Today, let's focus around the new Pale Moon cards, and we're going to start it off with a new Grid 1 that is going to be for Silverthorn. And all these cards are going to be Silverthorn related, as that is going to be the new thing for Pale Moon in this set. And the first one I'm going to talk about is this new Grade 1 8k unit that is Silverthorn Conjurer Romy. And her skill is act on rearguard circle, rest this unit, and put it into your soul. Look at the 3 cards from the top of your deck, put any number of cards with Silverthorn in their card names from among them into your soul, and put the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. So basically we had a very similar skill for the Aquaforce Blue Wing Grade 1 that gets you your Blue Wing cards from the top of the deck, and this basically does that for Silverthorns. But what's great about this card, unlike the other one, is that it's basically a free cost, as resting it and putting in the soul doesn't cost you counterblast, soul blast, or whatsoever, and checking the top card and then filtering your soul charge is pretty damn big, as currently Pale Moon soul charging is completely random. You're just soul charging the top of your deck and you hope to god that either is a key piece or at least not a trigger. With this, you don't have to bet on that anymore, so that's already pretty damn good effect in itself. It's now going to be dependent on how many Silverthorn cards we're going to get. At least what we already know is that we have this Grade 1, a Grade 2, a Grade 3, and Luquier herself. That's not a Grade 3. So we already have some cards, but that's definitely not enough. So it depends on how much we're going to get more in this set will dictate how good this card is going to be. But overall, it's a very good consistency booster, and it does cost nothing. So that's already a big plus in this card. So now let's take a look at the grade 2 Silverthorn card that we got, and that's this grade 2 9k attacker. That's Silverthorn Marionette Lillian, and her skills are Auto and Vanguard the Rearguard Circle when placed from hand, cost counter as 1, search your deck for up to 1 card with Silverthorn in its card name, put it into your soul, and shuffle your deck. This is pretty damn insane if you ask me. Yes, it's a place from hand and it costs a counterblast, but it targets anything. So if Silverthorn is going to get a specific powerful unit that you want to have in your soul at all times because it's a powerful combo setup card, then that's always going to be granted if you draw this card. And as we're going to see, drawing certain cards in your hand might not be that tough of an issue, and it works as a Vanguard as well as a Rearguard unit, so it works even if you write it as your second right target. So it's a very versatile card. And there's another reason, as we were looking at the second skill, and it's Auto and Rearguard Circle. When it attacks a Vanguard, if your soul has 4 or more cards with Silverthorn in their different card names, this unit gets power plus 10k until the end of the battle. So the first skill will complement her second skill on just an individual level. So you can just search out a missing piece. If you already have 3 different units into the soul, then search out the 4th one, and her skill is standby. She becomes a 90k attacker. Mind you, on a normal circle. If it's on a Axel 1 circle, that's a 29k attacker on her own. And if you just put a Golden Beast to Tamer power buff onto it, it becomes a 32k attacker for almost nothing, and that's pretty damn big. Although, as you see with the grade 1 and this grade 2, all of these cards need to have Silverthorns in your deck to work with all the different skills. But there's a big thing that I want to highlight with this card, is that the fact you don't have to work with a complete Silverthorn deck to work with this card, as you have a starter Silverthorn, so that's already 1 card in the soul that's gonna have a Silverthorn in the name, so that's 1. You run her, that's 2, so I have another copy of her in your soul, that's 2 different units. We also have a crit trigger that's gonna have Silverthorn in the name, so that's already 3 different units with Silverthorn in their name. Then you probably, maybe we're going to get another Silverthorn unit that's very useful in a generic build that doesn't really need you to run that many Silverthorn to make it useful. So in those scenarios, you can have already specific units, and the fact that this one can search out a specific Silverthorn and put it into the soul, that will help with the consistency that her 10k buff will be live. So don't underestimate this skill, as there's another thing about this card. Her race is a workoroid, so it does work with Alice. So there are some things that you can do it. So her race will synergize with the Workroid archetype that we already got with the previous cards, and it can have some synergies with all those other things if we also tag in some extra Silverthorn cards. So don't overlook that fact. I'm not saying that it will be a meta-defining thing, but it might be something to look at, as this card can be a bit more versatile than just locked into the Silverthorn deck, as most of these Silverthorn cards are probably going to be. Next up, we have a grade 3 Silverthorn, that is Silverthorn Beast Tamer Dorian, and her skill is Auto and Vanguard the Rearguard Circle. At the end of your turn, put all of your other rearguards into the soul and draw a card for every 2 cards put into your soul for this cost. If you put 4 or more cards, return a grade 3 card with Silverthorn in its card name from your soul to your hand. Retire this unit onto the Rearguard Circle. So basically, this resets your entire board. It put everything into the soul to basically protect them against retire clans, something like with a field wipe, but at the same time, you also draw a lot of cards from it, as when you have 6 units, it's not really that tough to get for Pilmoon. That's a +3 on your hand. Plusing for Pilmoon is very rare, and the amount that you can do with this card is pretty damn insane. But also that you then can get a grade 3 Silverthorn from your soul to your hand is also pretty insane, as you can basically guarantee your rewrites from Luquier with only 2 Luquiers in your soul, as you can just rewrite the other one each and every turn thanks to this support grade 3. And with Axel 2, that means that every time you rewrite that grade 3, you get another extra draw. So there are some pretty damn good synergies with this card. What also is very notable about this one is that it doesn't actually need Silverthorns to work, so this one can be a support card for the thing that I just talked about with the grade 2 Liliana, to have the extra Silverthorn card in your soul for her condition, even though you're not playing a Silverthorn deck. The only thing for her second ability is that needs to be a Silverthorn grade 3, but lucky for us, suffice to say, this is a grade 3 with Silverthorn in the card name. So in that sense, it can even work in her own synergy. If you have 2 on the field, one will put the other into the soul, and then you can immediately fetch it out from your hand, from your soul to your hand. So it does have its synergies right there. So don't overlook this. But now let's take a look at the VR for Silver Thorns, and that's basically Luquier herself, and see what this engine is going to be and what Silver Thorns is probably going to be focusing around. As their VR is Silver Thorn Dragon Tamer Luquier, a grade 3 Axle Marker 12k unit. And her skills are continuous Vanguard the rearguard circle. During your turn, if you call 2 or more cards from your soul this turn, this unit gets power plus 10k. So she will become a 22k attacker on the Vanguard circle, but also on the rearguard circle. And on an Axle 1, that's a 32k power. That's a pretty significant number. And you're probably gonna fulfill that condition every turn, as it's not really that hard to put out cards from the soul, especially when we take a look at their second ability, as that act on Vanguard Circle, once per turn, cost Counterblast 2, and discard a card from your hand. Call any number of cards with Silver Thorn in their card names from your soul to the rearguard circle, and all of your front row rearguards get power plus 3k until the end of turn. So this card really hammers down that the deck only wants to work with Silver Thorns, and that's where a lot of people are saying that this new build is only going to incorporate Silver Thorns and those cards will only work with each other. For the VR, that's completely correct. This card cannot really synergize with a lot of old cards, as it only calls out Silverthorn, so you need to have another way to call out different cards like Alice, for example, because she will not be called out with her skill. Also, what a little bit sad about this card is that the plus 3k power is during the main phase, so that means that multi-attacking will not give those units the plus 3k power that we had with Golden Beast Tamer. Also, the counterblast 2 might be a little bit heavy, but as we've seen with the other cards, we don't use a lot of counterblasts as of yet, so probably the most of your resources are going towards discard. Also, the discard might not be really that bad, as with the other grade 3 that we just seen with Doriana, is that we can draw those cards back, as Silverthorn Luquier will call the entire field. But at the end of the turn, with Doriana, we can then put them back into the soul, draw a lot of cards, protect them, and then next turn we call them out once again. So the synergy between Dorian and Luquier is basically what the deck wants to do. You call the field, attack with it, then put them back in to protect them, and next turn you do the same riddle all over again. As far as we see now with cards like Lillian and Luquier herself that gains a lot of power, it's probably that this build for Pale Moon will not be focusing around multi-tech as much as we're used to with Golden Beast Tamer. That deck was all about multi-attacking a lot of the times as fast as possible to overwhelm your opponent. But it looks like that Silverthorns is more about building up a good soul and then spread out, push for game with a lot of high-powered attacks, but not with multi-attacks per se. You're just multi-attacking thanks to the fact that you have Axle Circles, and probably not more than that. But we still have some high rarity cards revealed, double rares, a triple rare, and maybe some commons and rares that could say that this archetype could have some multi-attack potential. There are some cards from previous sets that we can still incorporate. Something like Midnight Bunny can still work with Luquier, as you can just call the Midnight Bunny from hand, and then if that hits, you can then activate some multi-attack shenanigans thanks to that card with its on hit ability. But it doesn't look like as of yet that Silverthorns in their own nature allows for multi-attacking just for high-powered pressure attacks. But overall, these Silverthorn cards are looking very interesting. I'm very excited Luquier is finally getting a return to standard, as it was one of the main archetypes back in the day, and it looks really fun about this new way of playing. It's not about multi-attacking, but more about aggressive using of soul to push and pump out more power. But we'll have to wait to see when we get more cards, and this archetype and this playstyle will develop even more with more support and more cards. But these cards weren't the only thing that was revealed today, as we also got the phase reveals of all the VRs for the upcoming AL4 set. And we already knew that this set was going to get 5 VRs, and we now finally know that 2 of those VRs are going to belong to Shadow Paladin, as you see in this image. We have the Mordred Phantom, as well as Masquerade, that's going to be the grade 2, that's probably going to be the 5th VR. What we also now know is that the Murakumo VR is a complete new unit that is Hyuga. And I'm calling it right now, I'm suspecting that its skill will have something to do that you can look at your opponent's hand, because the Byakugan is all about seeing things. But we also see the VR for Dark Regulars, and once again, it's a complete new unit, as some might say they thought it was Amon, but it's a different unit. Its name is something like Bulbavus, and that can either be a corrupted version of a Bulbasaur evolution, or it can be the naval laser guy from My Hero Academia that has a really bad day. But we also see the full art for Luquier, as the card image is more zoomed in. This is probably the sleeve art, and there we see 2 elf girls with blue and pink hair. Probably either Rem and Ram, or and Rem. But that's basically everything that was revealed today. Let me know in the comments down below all your thoughts and opinions about these new phase reveals for the VRs, as well as the new cards that were revealed for Pale Moon, as well as Shadow Paladin. Are you excited for the fact that Revengers is going to get a return, as well as their focus are going to be around Blaster Dark, similar to what we had with Blaster Blade? Or what's your opinion about the new Silverthorn cards? Are you happy that they're going to be a new archetype that's going to focus around the new playstyle for Pale Moon, or just interested in see what we can do to upgrade the current builds that we had with Golden Beast Tamer as well as Gun Salute, as that deck can use all the help it can get. Let me know all your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. As always, I want to thank my Patreon supporters over at Patreon for making this video possible. You guys are amazing. If you do want to support the channel and everything that's going on in this channel, then head over to patreon.com/Vanguard Insider and become a Patreon today. But with that said, I'm Mr. Time Leap, and I see you guys in the next one.